And this is also the party that supposedly is about Christianity. And I just imagine what they would have done to a little baby Jesus. But
I'm sorry. I'm disgusted. How dare you say what Republicans would do to Jesus?
Whoever welcomes one of these little ones in my name might be letting in a murderer or a drug. Let's get her to a detention center.
Amen, GOP Jesus. Now, folks, I'm not saying that being religious inherently makes you a piece of shit, just that being Republican does. And ironically, religious Republiphiles will get biblically hypocritical when it comes to the Bible, or rather, their bastardization of the Bible. And holy hell was that on display today, as the entire panel of the far-right fake news channel Newsmax, including Miss Mar-a-Lago face here, had an absolute meltdown over comments that Democratic lawmaker Jasmine Crockett made yesterday calling out Republican hypocrisy. And I want to start here by playing you Crockett's comments that kicked the whole controversy off, that conveniently didn't make it to the cherry-picked Newsmax highlight segment that Bimbo Mother Mary here got all divinely righteous over, because they're pretty fucking telling. Alright, so Jasmine Crockett starts off this interview by talking about the tragic and disturbing stories of real people, immigrants, she's actually met, and what Trump's regime is forcing them to go through. Just listen to how love thy neighbory this shit sounds.
So first of all, we heard the story of a U.S. citizen who was on her way to work. And as she tried to tell them, listen, I'm a U.S. citizen, they would not listen. And she was taken into custody. We also heard about just the conditions, the horrific conditions that human beings are being kept in, the unsanitary conditions. But here's the reality. We went to L.A. I've been to Chicago to hear stories about, how much force is being used when people are being detained. But, I can go right home. And I know the stories of my constituents. I know about a young lady who's only 21 years old and had consistently showed up to her appointments, and she was nabbed at one of those appointments. Her family said, make sure she's got her diabetic medication. They tried to give it to them. They would not take it. Ultimately, 5 days later, when they didn't give her medication, they had to take her to a hospital. They then put her back into custody, and ultimately there were issues with literally, I won't get so graphic, but involving urine and some other things.
Feel free to get graphic.
Well, there were allegations that because they were actually depriving them of water, that they literally were having to drink their own urine. This can't be America. But obviously, in Trump's America, this is exactly what he wants. And the idea that one person can get out of line and commit such a horrific crime as shooting two National Guardsmen that never, ever asked to be here. In fact, we know the young lady that lost her life, specifically, we're saying that this is a waste of time, but now you want to go against every single immigrant. That doesn't make sense. And it's frankly not who we are, because if that's the case, let's talk about the white supremacists and how many of them need to be kicked out of this country, because I can guarantee you, I can track down more crimes that they've committed, because overall immigrants have a lower crime committal rate than white supremacists. But we don't want to talk about that in this country.
Think about that. Someone was forced to drink their own piss because the felon-in-chief needs to fill up the prison industrial complex and private corporations that got him fucking elected. That's facts. Look it the fuck up. And yet the very same religious Republicans will be the first people to say thoughts and prayers for the National Guards person who died, and turn around and blame the exact same immigration system, the one that Trump used to give the killer asylum, rather than saying, oh, maybe it's the fucking guns. And that is the heart of the controversy that Mar-a-Lago Mary here latched onto and cherry-picked these pretty choice comments from Jasmine Crockett to have a full-blown fucking meltdown about. I'm surprised her fucking face stayed on.
So let's start with one of the Democrats' most prominent voices nowadays, Texas Rep. Jasmine Crockett. She joined us now, talking about ICE's enforcement and Trump's overall crime crackdown. And guess what? So she decided to take aim at the Republican Party's values, even questioning our Christian principles. You got to take a look at this.
I just want to be clear. This is the party that says that, they care so much about life until life actually shows up at their front door. And this is also the party that supposedly is about Christianity. And I just imagine what they would have done to a little baby Jesus, but that's a whole other issue. It is really so heartbreaking. We know that under the prior Trump administration, it was the children in cages. So for me, expecting them to do better by children was not one of the things that was on my bingo card.
Okay, a million things here in one. Who built the cages, Jasmine? It wasn't Trump. Anyway, but again, I'm sorry. I'm disgusted. How dare you say what Republicans would do to Jesus? What in the world is she talking about, Allison?
Sorry. I'm just going to jump in real quick here because I do think that given the fact that Jesus was a baby at the time, if a Republican or hell, even a Catholic priest got their hands on him, they'd probably try to him. I know you guys don't like statistics because of what they show, but statistically speaking, it's a pretty good likelihood of that. Anyway,
what in the world is she talking about, Allison?
Well, I don't think she knows what she's talking about. But the fact that she says, Christians don't care about life. No, you know what they care about? They care
Right
about
now,
the
you have
children
footage.
and the women who have been murdered, beaten by people who are here illegally. They care about the safety of people on our streets. They care about American citizens.
Right out of the gate, you have to know that compared to the U.S.-born population, undocumented immigrants are roughly 50% less likely to be arrested for violent crimes. So not a good start for the crime argument. And this chart shows just how wrong Donald Trump is, because this blue line represents the foreign-born population growing from 1980 until today, and these three lines beneath it are crime rates that are going down or staying completely flat. So as you can see, there is no correlation between the foreign-born population going up and crime rates going up. In fact, it's the opposite. Now, this is not to say that no undocumented immigrants commit violent crimes, because some of them do. But it would surprise Republicans to know that 97% of Democrats think that those people who've committed violent crimes should be deported. So we're actually on the same page here about that specific piece of this puzzle. It's pretty much all the rest of it where we don't agree.
And they do. Think about all of those people who turned out for Charlie Kirk's, for his memorial service. You want to talk about faith in the Republican Party? It's pretty strong.
you want to talk about faith in the Republican Party? It's pretty strong, she says, using Charlie Kirk's memorial as a fucking example. As if there weren't Republican men there on Grindr to cheat on their wives, just like at the RNC, which apparently, in your fucking bastardized version of MAGA Christianity, being gay is a sin, even though you have no fucking biblical evidence for that being a fact. I bet most of y'all haven't read the Bible, because you can't even read fucking books, and if you could, you'd probably know. But sure, go ahead and use your fucking religion to spread more hate.
The Democrat Party is an anti-faith party of all faiths, and the only thing they like are illegal immigrants, handouts, and I'm not going to question Jasmine Crockett's faith because that's not my job to do that, but she's a joke on everything else, and so why would I not consider her take on Christianity to be nothing more than a joke?
Yeah, and they're also, the party of abortion. We're very pro-life. So, moving on.
Oh my fucking God. First of all, okay, let me just make broad generalizations then as a fucking news anchor. Republicans are the party of kids. And you know what? I think most of the policies on the progressive side are far more pro-life than taking away people's medical care, taking away their SNAP benefits, increasing ICE agents' budget by billions of dollars so they can go through and aimlessly shoot at people and tear gas them and take away their diabetes medication and make them drink their own piss. Yeah, super fucking pro-life of you guys. Jesus Christ, if you didn't R-word Jesus Christ when he was a baby, you definitely kick his ass out, throw him in a cage, regardless of who fucking built them, rip him away from his mother for sure, and probably deport his dad to El Salvador. How dare you act like your faith makes you better than anybody else when you use that faith to literally commit sins, and even if you're not religious, to commit atrocities, war crimes against humanity. There truly is no hate like MAGA Christian love. And I am trying to use that MAGA definition specifically because I know there are good Christians out there. There are good all religions out there. There are good atheists out there. There are good agnostics. I consider myself one of those. I don't sit here and tell you what to or not to believe. But if you believe something so vehemently while going against the actual literal text of the thing that you claim to believe in, then I am going to take a shit on you. And you deserve to be shit on. Maybe Donald Trump should make an AI video of dropping poop on you. And I'll tell you what, the real fucking joke, the divine comedy of this whole thing is I pray, honestly, I kind of hope, I kind of wish, even though I don't believe in a lot of this stuff personally, like I would be pleasantly surprised to be wrong and to see you guys at the gates of heaven or wherever, and me as an agnostic but a good person who leads a moral life without needing the Bible to tell me what inherent morality is, to get through those fucking pearly gates while you get sent down to hell because you're inherently a piece of shit. And guess what? You didn't even need your fucking religion to be that. That is despicable. God, it feels good to be back. I haven't ranted since before Thanksgiving, and that feels great. Thanks for watching, folks. Be sure to check out our Substack. You can subscribe down below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. For Really American, I am Kenny Hesse. I'll see you guys in the next one.